Most of us have things in life that we regret. Maybe it was dating the wrong person in high school, or that buying that car that turned out to be a piece of junk. But hey, that's life. We learn and we grow from these things. But one area of our life that we cannot afford to make a blunder is in our retirement planning. The consequences are too great if we make a mistake. Hi everybody, and welcome back to my channel, A Resilient Life. I'm Ronnie. I'm retired. Most of my friends are retired, and I've been talking to retired people for over 10 years now. And so I have gained a wealth of information about retired life, successes and failures, enjoyments and regrets. And today I'd like to share with you 5 retirement regrets that have been expressed that we can learn from and hopefully help steer us in a better direction ourselves. But before I share those, let me just stop to ask, be sure to hit that thumbs up button that you'll find down below, and please subscribe. By doing so, it helps this channel and I can keep the content coming, and so I thank you in advance. So here are 5 retirement regrets. Number 1, I wish I had taken better care of my health. Many people say that they wish they had taken better care of their health during their working years or the decades prior to their retirement, and this has now become their number 1 retirement regret. It's great to have money, but what good is $1 million if you don't have your health? We would rather have our health. The biggest assumption that we have about retirement is that we're going to be healthy enough to enjoy it when we get there. But for many, this is not the case. According to Fidelity Investments, a 65-year-old retiree will incur over $300,000 in medical expenses during the course of their retirement years, and for a married couple, this translates into $600,000. Now, these kind of medical expenses can wipe you out, and this is why it's so important to have medical insurance and or Medicare in our senior years. But it also underscores something else. It underscores why we cannot neglect our health and just leave our health to chance. Because when we get into our 60s, things just begin to show up with consequence. Prevention is the best way to keep yourself healthy. Because once you go past your body's limit, it's very difficult to bring things back to its default setting. Prevention is the key. Don't be the person who takes better care of your car than you do your own body and your own health. Now, of course, it's never too late to embark upon a fitness journey, and the sooner the better. But here's the most important tip of all. If you want to improve your health and your fitness, you've got to put in the work. You've just got to do that. Plain and simple, there's no other way around this. You've got to put in the work. And I'm talking about exercise, nutrition, sleep, getting rid of inflammatory foods, stop putting poisons into your body, mobility training, and everything that contributes to a healthier lifestyle. This is the time of life that you have to become disciplined, self-disciplined about your health and fitness. We just can't leave it to chance. And by the way, I've already done a video on this topic, health regrets in retirement, and I will leave a link to it in the description box down below in case you're interested. Number 2, not increasing my savings while I was still working. A lot of retirees say they wish they had boosted their savings and built up their nest egg before wrapping up their careers. After all, when you're still working, you have a steady stream of income. Unlike when you retire, you have a steady stream of outgo. If your nest egg could use a boost, right now is the time to get it done. Let me share with you a true story. About 9 years ago, I was having my taxes done by our tax preparer, and he and I were having a casual conversation about upcoming retirement for both of us. And this guy's a genius on so many levels because he has a sophisticated understanding of finance that I don't have. And he said something in the course of that conversation that I will never forget. He was sitting behind his desk, his elbows were on his desk, and he mounted his hands up into he cupped his hands into a mound like this. And he said, when you get close to retirement, you need to pile up your money as fast as you can. You just have to pile it up. And then he added, investments, index funds, annuities, and rental properties, all of which he had, are all fine and well. But if you still have a job, you need to pile up your money as fast as you can while you're still working. Now, this was a defining moment for me because I knew what he meant. Cash is king. Being liquid is king. And I also knew what I needed to do. So I went out and slashed all of my expenses as much as I could. I accelerated my savings and I piled up my money as fast as I could. And the end result was a larger nest egg for me with additional financial security without having to rely upon the market only, which I have no control over anyway. Even if you have to play catch up, all of us have this wonderful opportunity to optimize our nest egg while we're still working before we wrap up our careers. We can't control the market, but our savings is something that we can control. Now, always remember this. The best time to start saving was 40 years ago, and the second best time is today. Number 3, not reducing my expenses before retirement. People are living longer nowadays, and so that means you've got to make your money last longer. Many retirees regret that they didn't reduce their expenses before wrapping up their career and retiring. Things like paying off their car loans and credit cards and paying off the house or the home mortgage, as well as getting big repairs done on the home while you still had a job. If you don't drastically cut your big expenses and you carry those into retirement with you, you could run out of money. Ideally, we want to be 100% debt-free because if we are, our money will last a whole lot longer. And so we have to do some forward thinking about this matter so that we don't carry heavy expenses into our retirement years and that become a regret for us. And this leads us to the next point, which is very similar. Number 4, buyer's remorse over big purchases. Now, people will often go out and purchase big ticket items just before or right after they retire with the intent that these things will help fulfill their retirement dreams. Now, this could be anything, a second home, a vacation home, a dream home, a motor home, a timeshare, a camper, travel trailer, boat, a new car, Rolex watch, or whatever. These big ticket items not only put a strain on your retirement finances, but they often fail to deliver on their promises. Let me share a true story. I know of a doctor who retired from his career in ophthalmology, which is an eye doctor, so clearly he had money. And after he retired, he went out and bought himself a large pickup truck as well as a travel trailer with the dream that he and his wife would travel to national parks across the country. Now, combined, these two purchases totaled to over $100,000. And so he retired and they started using these things for travel, taking short trips here and there. But it didn't take long for them to feel, his words, pinched inside this 300 square foot RV. He said, I thought we would have our own hotel, but we had to shove things up in there. The kitchen counter was the width of my hand, and the bathroom was like a phone booth shower stall. If I dropped the bar of soap, I couldn't even bend over to pick it up. And then he said, I was getting 6 miles to a gallon, and I had to pay $60 to $80 a night for an RV park, and so the expenses really began to add up. And then he went on to say, we found that it was an inefficient way to travel. Some of the RV parks are located in funky, out-of-the-way backwater places. Setup and breakdown at every stop became a hassle. You want to be free, but you're not. And of course, they got fed up with it all, and so they sold it all. And from the money, he went out and bought himself a Tesla. Now, all of us have experienced buyer's remorse at some point in our lives. But the last place that you ever want to experience buyer's remorse because you went out and bought a big ticket item is in your retirement years, because the consequences are just too great. It will eat up your money, even if you're a doctor. And then number 5, I wish I had developed a hobby or an interest outside of my work. Now, this is a very valid concern. We can get so tied up in our work decade after decade after decade that we don't have any outside interests. And then when you do retire, you don't know what to do with yourself. I mean, we can't travel all the time, and who wants to sit in an easy chair for 14 hours a day? And so we need a hobby or an interest or some reason to keep us going, to keep us entertained and engaged in life. Now myself, I'm into health and fitness. That's my deal. I mean, that's my main deal. I'm happy if I'm allowed to just do that full time. In fact, for the first year after I retired, I trained like it was my new job. I was working out 4 or 5 days a week. Then I would eat and sleep, rinse and repeat, and do it all over again. And I'm also an avid outdoorsman, so is my wife. Anything recreationally done in the outdoors, we love and we do it. Plus, I'm a gardener. I grow a vegetable garden and a very large flower garden. Now, all of these things and so many more keep me fully engaged in life. I'm so active and so busy now, I don't know how I ever found time to go to work in the first place. And I can't think of anything more beneficial to your mental health than to develop hobbies or interests outside of your work. It keeps you going and gives you a full and active life after you retire. And I might also add, developing friendships outside of work. Having friends and friendships outside of your workplace brings a healthy balance to your life. And then when you retire, it eases the transition into this new chapter. You see, work isn't everything. It doesn't last forever. And when it does come to an end, you don't want your life to come to an end because you don't know what to do with yourself. And the key takeaway point here is simply this: develop interests or friendships outside of your workplace and you'll benefit from it. Well, that's all for now. I'm interested in hearing your thoughts on this topic, so leave me a comment down below. Hit the thumbs up button, feel free to subscribe, and take care, and we'll see you next time.